So day 2, lads, the Ballymore Novices Hurdle. It is our fourth race to preview. 2 miles and 5 furlong. It's a grade 1, lads. 5 key stats. One winner this century wasn't in the first 2 last time. The Challow Hurdle winner has never won it. So attention to the Bravemansgame fans here. Last 7 winners are all aged 6. One of the last 14 winners had an SB of bigger than 8-1. So it this Ballymore tends to favour horses that are closer to the top of the market, and the last 11 winners have won a bumper. Yeah, quick shot of betting, lads, for the Ballymore. Bravemansgame was the Challow winner, of course, 7-2 chance. Bob Ollinger, impressive at the Lauders at Naas, is a 4-1 chance. Appreciate it. 8-1 now for the Ballymore. Gallard du de Menil is an 8-1 chance for Willie Mullins as well. Ashdale Bob, 20-1. Ballyadam, 20-1. Blue Lord, 20-1. Gentleman's Game, 20-1. And Adrimal, 25-1. The rest. Davy, thoughts on the Ballymore?
Again, we're repeating ourselves a little bit, but it's all about where Appreciate goes. Like I mentioned earlier, I hope he goes here, and I think he will go here.
Why do you think he will, Davy?
I think that he'd be better suited over 2.5. I know he was ridden handy last day over 2, and he was second, just beaten by potentially the best of them all, but unfortunately not going to run is Fernie Hollow. So his form over 2 is very, very good. You can't knock it. So why won't he run there? And listen, I could be wrong, but I just think that he could be a horse that just rode a little bit more patiently. It will suit him better. It's probably a weaker race as well, isn't it?
If Willie Mullins hadn't come out after the race at Leopardstown, if he hadn't come out and said we're staying at 2 miles and it was 50-50, people would be giving him probably a hell of a lot more chance for this. He looks like a natural 2.5 miler without Willie's comments.
That's what I think. I was actually very surprised when Willie said that on RT after he won. I think he's more of a 2.5 and Ballyadam's more of a 2 miler. But look, I do like Bob Ollinger. I thought he was very impressive the last day in Naas. Again, I go back to Fernie Hollow. Fernie Hollow beat this lad in the maiden hurdle in Gorn. Shows you how good Fernie Hollow is. In that race in Naas the last day, he was unfortunate. He fell at the first. Ashdale Bob, I think, is a good price each way for this race. He's a horse I like. Like I said, he was unfortunate to fall. He won a grade 2 in Navan before that for Paddy Kennedy, and he won his maiden hurdle then, which is good form as well. He's a horse I like at a big price. But again, it all goes back down to if Appreciate runs. If not, I'd go with Bob Ollinger. But Ashdale Bob is way.
I suppose if the betting was anything to go by, Mike Vince, it's a straight match between Bravemansgame and Bob Ollinger. But as we said, if Appreciate it goes in here, it throws it wide open. What did you make of Gallard du Menil? 8-1 now, and I suppose he just won a maiden, to be fair. Like, he's going to have to step up, isn't he? I see he's in the Italian Lacey at Leopardstown at Dublin Racing Festival.
Yeah, and of course, the thing about this is because it's the Donnellys, isn't it? There has to be an element of that. He beat the horse named after you at Christmas, didn't he? Mr. Incredible. And was it Holy Macapone that did him at Punchestown?
Yeah.
I think. I've not seen anything to make me think he's a Cheltenham Festival winner, to be honest. He's only won a maiden, but the market is normally, people with doubles and trebles on quite often in at this stage. I agree with Davy very much about Ashdale Bob when he fell at the second, so chuck a line through the form of the Naas race. But his win at Navan puts him right in the mix, Ashdale Bob. But I'm going to mention one other, and that is a horse that actually got beat in the Challow. I didn't like the Challow. I thought it was a strange race with a small field. And we've had 2 types of Challow through the years. When the ground is a bit quicker, and I'm only talking good ground, I'm not talking fast ground, and they go a good clip, it's often a better trial than a bog. I thought Stargate was really impressive, winning at Sandown in a small field the time before, second to Bravemansgame. And yet Bravemansgame is up towards the top of the market. And Stargate is out with the washing. And I think Stargate each way for Evan Williams and presumably Adam Wedge, 25-1 or even bigger than that, might be the one to look at this stage because, as I said, the picture is extremely messy. because of not knowing what is going to turn up.
I actually have him wrote down as well, Barry, Stargate, but I think he might have him wrote down for the Albert Bartlett. I think they might try and step him up to 3 mile. Maybe I'm wrong, but I agree with what Mike's saying, but I think they'll go the 3 mile route with him.
So speaking of bigger price horses, and he's just a horse I wanted to mention. We had Tom Lacey on the podcast a week ago, and look, on ratings, he does have to improve again, right? But you know, I loved his attitude in the Leamington. If the ground showed up soft, and funny enough, Tom came out straight away afterwards and said potentially Albert Bartlett. And when we were speaking to him on the podcast, he was more or less saying, you know, wait and see how it goes. He wouldn't. It'd definitely have to come up soft for him to go to the festival. But I just thought his attitude was very good. You know, was given a cracking ride by Richard Johnson. And if you look at him at the line, he wasn't actually going away. So I just wonder, does he need to go up to 3 miles at this stage in his career? And if it was soft ground and he did run in here, he might be underestimated. He's 20-1 non-runner, no bet. But sticking with non-runner, no bet, and we'll come to your lad selections. I'll give mine first. I think the bet to have is Appreciated at 4-1 non-runner, no bet. Because if he's not going to be 4-1 if he goes for this, I don't think. I think he goes off favoured. If Appreciated is put in this race, he goes off favoured. He's 4-1 non-runner, no bet. You're not wasting any money if he doesn't run, and you're getting that value if he does. And as Davy pointed out straight away, I think 2.5 miles, that was the trip that I saw him at this year. And if Willie does change his mind, you know, he does change his mind, and it's not beyond all possibilities. But Adrimal as well, 20-1 non-runner, no bet. I think both of those are a few points too big in the non-runner, no bet market. Anyone else? Or final selections, Davy? For this show.
I agree with you. Appreciate it if he runs, and the non-runner, no bet is a great price at 4-1. And Ashtail Bob each way.
I would go each way Stargate in response to you about Adramel. My one worry about the Leamington was they all finished in a heap. He scrambled home. He didn't romp home. That's my one.
I think he'll go to the Albert Bartlett.
The Albert Bartlett last year, we were slamming it and saying it was a race for the ragtag and bobtails, and it turned out to be one of the best races of the entire festival. So they're not going to mummy P's and Q's when we get that far.